welcome to the vlog. Probably the most asked question since Christian and I have gotten married. That was, woo, this one's pretty personal. Prenup. Here's a juicy one. Ooh, okay. Has sex felt different after being married? Budget for the wedding. Wow, we're really getting like, so there's been some rumors. I feel like Christian didn't word this the best way. Has sex felt different after being married? How many favorite position questions you're gonna get, LOL. Okay, when did you know Christian was the one? What made you decide to be open about wanting to start for a baby? How do you deal with feelings of doubt and not being good enough? What keeps you going? Did you give CG an ultimatum? What's up, guys? Welcome to Intrusive Questions with Heidi. This is gonna be fun. I did a Q&A on my Instagram story and I was like, guys, ask me intrusive questions. I wanna get deep, I wanna get personal. Looking at these questions, I was like, ooh, these are juicy. There's a couple in here that aren't that juicy, but I thought they'd be fun to kind of mix in between. So let's get into it, guys. Oh, that was, woo, this one's pretty personal. Okay, I'm gonna start with a very common question, which is prenup. This has been probably the most asked question since Christian and I have gotten married, and a question that we've sort of answered here and there. Christian and I, when we got engaged, I automatically thought, prenup. Obviously, gotta protect yourself, gotta protect the other person. It's just almost like robotic, if you will. Growing up, I always told myself, like, oh, I would never sign a prenup, whether I am well off or my husband is well off. In my head, it was just robotic, I'll never sign one. As I've been a business owner and things have developed, my mind has changed-ish overall. When you're a business owner, you see so many different sides of people, not necessarily like your husband or wife, just people that you thought were good, genuine people end up turning on you. I don't know, there's a lot of things that I've seen and experienced, okay? I automatically thought, prenup. I built my prenup, Christian built his, and then we came together and we were like, this is basically pointless. Like, what are we doing? We decided not to sign prenups after having really deep, thorough talks about what is a prenup, what's the point of it, what does it do? Does it protect you? Yes, absolutely. And I learned a lot during this process. So what I chose to do is take the prenup that I created and put it into a trust with a big chunk of my other money. This is a long-term goal. I have my money in a trust with a prenup that basically is if I were to die, and this is how future I think, and I guess I'm a control freak. I'm like, okay, if I were to die in the future, Christian and the kids have access to my money, our money, my trust fund. And if Christian wants to remarry, fuck that hoe. I'm kidding. It's fine. It's fine. I will hunt her though. If he decides to remarry, she has to sign this prenup that I put together in order for them to keep receiving money from my trust, if that makes sense. The reason I wanted to build something out like that, and the reason I wanted Christian to also do the same is, one, Christian's just very trusting, and I know that like if I were to die and he marries someone else, he's like, it's okay, we don't need a prenup. And I'm like, no, she does. Like I'm from heaven, like, no, sign it. Have her sign that prenup. That is what I wanted to put together. That is a long-term goal. It's a process and it's taking time to build that out. I told Christian the same thing. If you were to die and I were to remarry, he didn't sign a prenup. What if you just took over Alphaland and did all these things? So this is just another way to protect yourself. You can do a prenup. You can also do a postnup, and that's where like you're on good terms with your spouse. It is not too late to do a prenup, if you will. It's called a postnuptial, or you can have a trust fund. You can build your own trust. There's many different ways to protect yourself. These are the 3 most common things you can do. I chose the trust option. Honestly, I'm curious about these things too. Like, I'm always like, I wonder what they did. I wonder what this person did. Here's a juicy one. Ooh, okay. Has sex felt different after being married? This is a good question and something that I actually brought up to Christian the other day. So I guess as someone that grew up very religious and as a Christian, it's kind of a no-no to live with someone before you get married, a no-no to engage in sexual things before you get married. Not that I felt terrible doing these things, but I'm like, ugh, I know it's like not the right way, if you will. Once you get married, it's better because you're like, oh my gosh, this is like encouraged. I love this. I love it here. Not that it felt super different, but I felt better, I guess. It's more fun. I'm like, I don't feel guilty. It's kind of like, oh, this is encouraged because we're making babies over here and we enjoy it. I feel like a lot of people have this like taboo thing where it's like, oh, once you get married, it's no longer a thing. We've been together for like 8 years. If anything, it like made it more fun and more enjoyable. So that's all I have to say about that because I always get weird talking about sexual things. How many favorite position questions you're gonna get, LOL. So I do this thing on my story. It's usually creepy guys. Men ruin everything. Sorry, Brian. I'll say, hey guys, ask me your favorite question. It's always, I have all females that basically follow me, but of course a guy will say, your favorite position. And I always say the same thing. I'm like, CEO, bitch. And then I try to think of like creative ways to answer these questions. Always fun because I get really creative. I'm like, well, my favorite position is being on an airplane and having a whole row to yourself and you can just spread out and lay out. So I get kind of creative with them just to be facetious. Budget for the wedding. Wow, we're really getting like, y'all didn't hold back with a lot of these questions. You want to know everything. So I don't want to say an exact number. The reason that I don't like giving certain numbers is I don't want people to think that, oh, in order to have this beautiful wedding, I need this amount. I also want to be transparent and being like, okay, if you have $5,000 budget for your wedding, you're probably not going to be able to get closer to what we did for our wedding. Our budget was in the 6 figures. It went originally a little over what we wanted to spend, but we had conversations where I thought about it and I was like, okay, my goal for this wedding is not only to have the most amazing day in the world, it is to give our families like an amazing vacation. And so that was kind of our goal, and I feel like we definitely accomplished that. It's like we're all grown now. How often are we able to go on these crazy trips with all of our loved ones? And we did that. And then of course, Hanny went over the top with everything else, but he can't help it. It's in his blood. We're just very extra over the top. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. It was the best day of our lives. We had so much fun. It was beautiful. Like, I wouldn't change a thing. Yes, we went over budget, and I know some people are like, you could have built a business, you could have done this, you could have done that. But at the end of the day, Christian and I have worked so hard the last decade on just building our brands so that we could just enjoy it. It's like we've worked our butts off for so long, and it's like we take care of our loved ones, we donate to different organizations, we take care of our teams, and if we want to splurge on our wedding day, I don't feel guilty. I don't feel guilty at all. Did you give CG an ultimatum? So there's been some rumors. I feel like Christian didn't word this the best way on Max's podcast. People are like, Heidi gave Christian an ultimatum. It's like, I didn't give him an ultimatum. Obviously, we were together for a long time. It came to a point where Christian was like, okay, either I'm putting my money into Alpha Land or we get married. I'm the one that told him, marriage, wedding, we can do that later. Let's build your dream gym. So that's when we deep dive into Alpha Land. Now, Alpha Land was open for a little while, and then it came to a point where I was like, bruh, like, what are we doing? Are we getting married or not? Like, because I wanted to have kids, he wanted to have kids. He's talking about, you know, creating a business together, getting a house together. And I was like, you're missing a big step. Not that I gave him an ultimatum, but I was like, I have my boundaries. I was like, well, if you want this, like you want kids, you want a house together, you want a business together, I need a ring in marriage. Those are my boundaries. So not that I gave him an ultimatum. If you want me to do wife things, you gotta wife me up first. I wasn't like, I'm walking away if there's no wedding, but I was also very transparent about my boundaries of what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not. There's been times Christian has wanted to do a business together. There's been times where he's wanted to, you know, have a kid together, which I was kind of like, all right, we kind of chanced it there for a little bit. But I'm very protective of my boundaries in order to do these things. I want to get married. I want to have a wedding, and I want like our kids to have the same last name and things like that. Another juicy one. Wow, these are juicy. OnlyFans content, please. Is this a guy? See, do you see why they ruin everything? Why? I will never do an OnlyFans. I don't judge people that do. If anything, I'm like, girl, whatever is gonna make you happy in life, go chase that. Whether it's running a business as a CEO or it's running your OnlyFans or whatever you wanna do, fully support you, whatever you wanna do. But I will not be doing an OnlyFans because I think, and this is just coming from my view, right? I think that women are often very sexualized, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with like a woman wanting to be like a little on the sexy side, right? Like I wear my little bitty sports bras and I wear my grunge leggings, and I like feeling confident and looking confident and having like a little bit of sex appeal, if you will. I wanna feel beautiful and sexy and all of those things. But creating an OnlyFans, it's like I have so much more value than just my body or my face or whatever, right? And I love it when women also recognize that. Again, I feel like I just have so much more to offer, and a lot of other women have so much more to offer than doing OnlyFans or other adult things. But if it makes them happy, go for it. But I will not be doing that thing. Another question. These are good, juicy questions. What makes you nervous about motherhood? Just had a baby myself and excited for you to start your family. I am so ready to have a baby, but I am so scared about the delivery. That's the one thing that gives me anxiety. I'm like, baby, got it. I can do that. I'm not afraid to ask help. I've been an auntie, 15 times now? 16, 17? I lost count. There's so many of them. So I don't know if I have like the right hips for having, you know, delivery. Also, I'm freaked out about needles. I literally get a panic attack. Like can't breathe. Last time I got my blood drawn, so embarrassing. Why does that I don't know how to like, I gotta figure that out too. The delivery process scares me because of just pushing a child out of your vagina. We could say that here. And then someone was recently telling me about the red ring of fire where it's like canal is so stretched and burns and I don't know, guys, I don't know. And then some kid was born recently and like they scraped the whole mom on the way. I feel like I'm gonna be a phenomenal mom and I'm gonna give this kid everything that I got and I'm gonna try to be the best mom possible. But yeah, what scares me the most is actually just the actual delivery process. Your views of independent women who try to balance masculine and femme energy. And this is why I love the word buff bunny, right? The reason I chose that name is because buff is supposed to be this one side of you that is like your masculine energy, if you will. It's like you want to throw around the weights, you want muscle, you want to be strong, both mentally, physically. And then bunny is like that soft, feminine, beautiful side to you as well. So it's like combining both. You can have both and maybe you're leaning into one or the other sometimes. I love it. I think it's beautiful when a woman has both. I think it's great. If a girl wants to be more of that feminine side, like more power to her. If a girl wants to be more on that masculine side, more power to her. I think the great thing is women having a choice, what they want to do. Okay, when did you know Christian was the one? I shared this with Christian one time, and I think I put on my story once too. He was like, I love that. I wish you would have like told me that earlier on. So, I mean, there's plenty of times where I was like, okay, here comes Christian who is putting in so much effort. He is so smart and driven and passionate, very attractive, has muscles that doesn't hurt. So he's like this like full package. But I remember this one moment, and it sounds so stupid, but we were driving. He came to see me in San Antonio, and we went to Shipley's and we're in the drive-thru and he gets the donuts and like he pays and he like drives and he turns to me and he goes, can you open up that bag and put one in my mouth? And I was like, yes, yes I can. I was like, that is so attractive. And I was like, why do I think this is so attractive? And I think for me, it was a healing moment. In previous relationships, he was looking out for my best interest, if you will. I hit like 500K or something on Instagram, and my assistant at the time got these chocolate donuts from Shipley's to spell out 500 or 800K, whatever it was. And it was so sweet and thoughtful. Shipley's was my favorite. She had the chocolate frosting, the sprinkles on top, and I was so excited to eat these. I went to go do errands one day, and then I came back and I was like, where's my donuts? And my ex had thrown them away. He was like, you have an expo coming up, you shouldn't be eating that. Again, he was looking out for my best interest, but for me, I remember in that moment being so angry. I was like, I am so lean. I do not need to be any leaner than I am. I'm not competing for a show. I loved my body how it was. And if anything, I was like, I would rather put on some weight versus trying to get leaner. I guess I was just so angry in that moment because it's like, how dare you throw away my chocolate sprinkled donuts? Basically saying like, I could be leaner because I have an expo coming up where I wasn't competing. I was just gonna be meeting people. But I remember that moment was so hard on me because I was like, I look great. I can eat the damn donut. Fast forward, much more time goes by, I'm with Christian and he's just like so excited to eat these donuts. Couldn't even wait till we got home to just bust open these chocolate sprinkled Shipley donuts. Christian was always trying to like fatten me up, if anything. He was like, you need to eat more, like have more donuts, have more this. Or like the other day, he was like, eat the Chick-fil-A. Like if anything, he tries to get me to eat more. I mean, I eat a good amount, like 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day. Like I eat a lot, but Christian's never trying to control or tell me not to eat something. He's never once told me like, you should be leaning out, or like, you could be leaner, or anything like that. So I don't know, it's just like a special moment. How's dad doing lately? My dad is doing good. Thank you for asking. I touched on this a while ago in a video and I haven't really talked about it too much. My dad was diagnosed with stage 5 aggressive cancer back in October. My whole family was kind of getting space. We were taking it all in and seeing the treatments and the different options that he had. And he actually flew out to Houston. I brought him to MD Anderson. And that's partly why we had our Alaska wedding when we did. And in my head, I was like, okay, I want this to be a special moment. 1, we're signing the papers, it should be special. 2, I knew that there was a possibility that my dad wouldn't make it to our Cayman's wedding. And in that sense, I didn't want him to feel guilty. I didn't want him to feel bad. So I was like, let's do a little something cute in Alaska. We were very fortunate that my dad was not only able to go to the Alaska wedding, but he just barely, it was touch and go. It was day by day. He was possibly not able to make it to the Cayman wedding. But luckily he was able to make it, and he is doing so good right now. He is doing a series of treatments right now, and he's just responding so well to them that they don't think that he has to do chemo at this point. So super blessed, so happy to hear this. Our family's feeling like really excited right now because we're like, yes, okay, like stage 5, aggressive cancer sounds so terrifying, but there's light at the end of the tunnel is what we're looking at right now. We are grasping at that, but we appreciate anyone's prayers and all the love. What made you decide to be open about wanting to start for a baby? Very refreshing, but kind of scary, no? We are very open on our socials. Obviously, I'm answering all of these very intrusive questions. I love following people on social media that aren't afraid to use their voice, to share their life and things like that. And it's scary as hell because people will use these things against you. They will dig into all of your whole life and try to pinpoint reasons on, why we're not able to conceive, and they'll start trying to put puzzles together on like, Christian does this or Heidi does this, and this is the reason that they're not able to conceive. So it can be a little overwhelming. But I believe that people watching are also able to be like, okay, I'm not in this alone. This happens to more people than you think. It's just not everyone is open about it, talks about it, because it can be scary. I mean, some people are scared to even share it with their families, let alone all of you guys online that are also going through this. Probably feel a lot better knowing like, I'm not in this alone, and like, oh, okay, like Heidi's going through it too. It's like, we're in this together. I put this on my story recently. It's like, life is a roller coaster. It is not just sunshine and rainbows. Like that Rocky quote back in the day, it's like, life is gonna knock you down. I love that quote. I actually was watching a TikTok the other day of like this little boy who like word for word knew the whole thing. And I was like, that is so cool. But it's so true. And it's like, you have the power to either lean into the negative part, right? It's like ups and downs, ups and downs. And if you live in those downs, you're not gonna appreciate the highs and you're not gonna see the highs. Try to find those silver linings on those dark, hard weeks, and that will help you go back into those ups and that roller coaster. How do you deal with feelings of doubt, not being good enough? What keeps you going? I'm gonna be honest, I have imposter syndrome. Like every single person does. I don't know any person that is truly fearless. Like people say like, oh, don't let fear win and don't be scared and don't be this. I'm like, me on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, I'm scared shitless sometimes. Yes, I'm afraid. Yes, I have fear, but it's not like I don't let it win. I do have those struggles, and in those situations, I'm like, all right, well, am I gonna let fear win, or am I gonna actually grow from this and just like push past? I am terrified of 3 things, my biggest fears and what has held me back. 1, swimming. I don't know how to swim. Really? Oh, that makes me so happy. I mean, I'm sorry, that sucks. I don't know, like I've tried a handful of times to like try to learn to swim. And I've done stuff where like I've gotten in the water in my little puffer safety vest, what's it called? Like jacket. I've jumped in the ocean before. That's why people are like, oh my God, you're lying. There's pictures of you like in the ocean. Yeah, I would like dive in and like do this and then come back up and be like, help, on the boat. I don't know why. I think possibly I have this like, I'm constantly in fight or flight mode is what my chiropractor said. And she's like, you just don't know how to relax. I'm always like, I'm so excited about life. But it's also like, I'm very tense apparently all the time. 2, needles freak me out. They freak me out. I can do Botox, not a problem, but there's something about keeping a needle in my skin and pulling it out, like getting your blood drawn here. I had a panic attack last time. So 3rd one, public speaking. I did communications in college and I failed the first time, and then the second time got a C, or I got a D and a C. I don't know, it wasn't good. It was not good because I would get up to the front of the class and I would just panic. I would lose everything, blank out, stage fright, I guess. And like actually whenever I would do shows, I would black out sometimes on stage because I would see all the people and just like freak out. I don't know, but I recently did a public speaking event. I was like, I'd always say no. When people asked me to speak, oh, can you do this? And I was like, no, because I was like, I cannot get on the stage. But I was asked to do a panel on a stage. Well, I switched it to doing a panel. And this terrified me. Like the night before, I was getting really anxious. I was getting like the sweats, like cold, like hot flashes and stuff. I was like, oh, what did I get into this? I was terrified to do this. But I told myself, this event that they're asking you to speak at is for women. It would be a disservice not to go and share with these women what you know about this. And I was so passionate about sharing what the wins, the losses, the W's, the L's. Like, I was like, I need to share this with other women. I think that they would benefit from this. I guess like fear of public speaking, I'm like, people don't care what I have to say. And I still felt that a little bit, like going into it, I was like, ugh. But also I wanted to share this. When I got up there, I was like shaking. Could you see my little thing shaking? I was like, ugh. But as soon as I started talking and sharing what I knew, I was like feeling a little bit more comfortable. And I'm not gonna say like, I got up there and I was like, yeah, I'm just chilling, man, I feel great. Like I still felt a little bit anxious. My voice was shaking, my hand was shaking. I was like, why am I here? That feeling that I got after I got off the stage, I was like, I did it, I conquered a fear. And now I feel more comfortable doing it again. Like that is crazy that I did that. Yes, I went onto that stage not feeling good enough. I was like, what I'm gonna share, does it even matter? Is it gonna make an impact? Why do these people want me there? Like I've only been a businesswoman for a short amount of time, and like, I don't know. But man, all the women that came up to me after, like I was like in a corner, I had to pee so bad. But as soon as I got off the stage and the event was over, for an hour and a half straight, I talked to every single woman that came up to me and was like sharing about their businesses and talking about how me speaking, it sounded like a friend and it really helped them. Nothing beats this feeling that what I gave to this woman was actual useful advice that helped inspire them, that helped motivate them, gave them useful tips for their businesses. That like changed me in a good way. I was like, wow, this is a good way for me to tie in grounds. Someone said, I feel lost in my fitness journey. Any tips on navigating through this? This is not an intrusive question, but I feel like it's a great question. There is so much information out there. It is honestly overwhelming. And I get why there's so much information out there. It's because like you are not to be put in a box. There's not one little box that everyone fits in. But if you want me to dumb it down and keep it super simple, calories in, calories out. Figuring out what your macros are or figuring out how many calories you should be consuming a day. Calculate your macros. You can do this on Grounds. We give your suggested macros based on your goals. So if you're wanting to lose weight, boom, it's gonna say, these are your calories. You wanna eat those calories in order to lose weight. Try to hit your protein. If you wanna keep it simple, whatever your maintenance calories are, eat below that. My maintenance calories to maintain where I'm at is 1,800. If I'm gonna start a diet, let's try 1,600. And what I'm also gonna do is try to stick with 1,600 calories. I'm gonna try to hit my protein every single day. Calories and protein, those are the two most important ones. And get your workout in every day. So pick a workout program on Grounds. I highly recommend Sculpt if you work out at the gym. If you work out at home, try Burn. Pick one of those. Calculate your macros, cool. Don't worry about carbs and fat at first. Just try to get your calories, try to get your protein. Then you can start complicating it more by tracking your carbs, tracking your fat, trying to hit those different goals too. And also, Grounds is having a special, so you guys can either do the $19.99 a month, or you can also buy 1 year up front. It is $119, but it gets you a whole year. That ends up being like $10 a month. So great deal. We kind of have it all. We got workouts, programs, macro calculator, period tracker, built-in community. We got a Grounds Spotify playlist, a step tracker. We have a heart rate monitor. We kind of have it all. This was fun, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and, since I just mentioned Grounds, let's do a giveaway for this one. Let's give away 3 annual memberships to Grounds. If you guys are already a Grounds member and you win, you can actually gift it to a friend. So anybody can enter this giveaway. All you gotta do is, y'all know the drill, give the video a thumbs up, comment below your favorite part, and make sure you're subscribe to my channel. Where are they subscribing at? Is it here? 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 Yeah? I don't know. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great. And we'll go ahead and pick the winners in about a week after this video is posted. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you all in the next video.